Jesus said, blessed are ye when men persecute you because of your faith. When faith attracts persecution, celebrate. Did you not read about the apostles? Acts chapter 4. When they caught them, they flogged them, never preach in the name of this Christ. The Bible said they returned to their company and they celebrated that they too have been counted worthy to be persecuted for Jesus. Trials of faith. Faith sometimes will shut doors against you. Faith sometimes will throw you to the den of the lion. Faith sometimes will throw you into the furnace of fire. Faith does not only open doors, faith also shuts doors. There are places you go to because you call Jesus, they will relegate you to the back. But the excellency of faith is that everything you lost in time, God has a way through restoration at the right season to cover up all of those things. When you look at the life of Joseph, you thought those 13 years was a waste. From when he was sold by his brothers to his days in Potiphar's house, about 11 years, to the time in prison, about 2 years, you thought it was waste of time. But when God showed up, even Potiphar was no longer qualified to stand before Joseph. So the things you are losing, you are not losing them. God is aggregating them for you. At the right time, they will show up. This is why no matter the persecution, don't back down. Let people laugh. It's part of the story of faith. Number 4. Health challenges. And this one is very common with people who are in the power ministry. You know, when we went for Reinhard Bonke's last meeting in Lagos, he was operated of cancer not too long. Even when he was preaching, you could see the fire, but the body was weak. And I stood there as a man who didn't have understanding at the time, and I was wondering, I said, this man, he dematerialized cancer. Why will he be operated? That's where you hear, physician, heal thyself. People will even come up and say, all those things we told you were fake. Now that himself is sick, how come we can't see the healing power? It will look as if their narrative was right. You will endure it. People will mock you. I thought you say you deliver people. How come your own son is demonized? And many times, for a season, nothing will happen. It's faith. It's part of scripture. Look at the Bible. Job chapter 1. The Bible began this scripture by telling us the credentials of Job. Job 1 verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. That man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. This was a man who walked with God. But there was a challenge, and Job was not even aware. Satan went to God. Is it not because you blessed him that is worshiping you? If you didn't bless him, will he worship you? God said, this man loved me more than things. Satan said, it's not true. He said, okay, go and try it. He went. One day, all of his wealth and children disappeared. You will be there asking, all of them, where say now they pray? Why didn't you see when Satan wanted to attack your son? If you have not heard such things, you don't know faith. If things happen to you and everybody come to sympathize with you, you are not a man of faith. That means you have not said some rugged things before. They will show. I thought you say you see. How come attack came? 7 of your children, you didn't see one. You will keep quiet and learn humility in faith. As if that was not enough, Satan still came and afflicted the man. And you not the one who was saying here that Christ in you is the hope of glory? Are you all the ones shouting and singing, if that same spirit that raised up Jesus from the dead lives in us, he quickens our mortal body? Are you not the one saying, I cannot be sick? Oh God, how come you are lying down? You will turn to God and bite your finger. But you see, it will be too late to doubt God. And because you can't doubt God, it becomes like a prison. You can't deny your faith, and you can't deny the fact that you are where you shouldn't be. And people are asking. That's where Job found himself. It's called trial of faith. Your health will be attacked. Your loved ones will be attacked. Look at Paul, mighty apostle. The Bible said Paul was in Lystra. He was preaching. A man who was impotent from birth was watching, and Paul perceived that he had faith, and Paul told him, stand up. And a crippled man stood up and started walking. But Timothy, that was Paul's disciple, was sick. Guess what Paul said? Don't drink only water, drink wine. For what? Your often infirmities. Imagine if you saw Paul in the hospital with Timothy. You will carry phone and record. Come and see this fake apostle. I told you, all those miracles on the crusade are fake. See the real sickness, he can't do anything. Or God don't come hospital. Trials. 1 Timothy 5, 22 and 23. You know, I wondered how Paul felt when he wrote this to Timothy. Meanwhile, Paul was still talking to him about laying on of hands. He said, lay hands suddenly on no man. That means even Timothy was walking in miracles. So Paul was telling him, don't be carried away and start laying hands on everybody. Be wise, so that you don't partake of people's infirmity. Yet the guy was sick. So you will lay hands on somebody, he's shouting, I am healed. You turn, you are vomiting. That's faith. Paul, God mighty apostle, healed the sick, but his own disciple sick. He said, drink no longer water, but use little wine for thy stomach's sake and for thy often infirmities. So Timothy was sick, Paul was helpless many times. They had to look for a doctor to advise them. Recently somebody said, these pastors have doctors. I said, you don't know faith. If you know the journey of faith, you will know. There's no law that says you shouldn't have doctors. But that doctors are present does not mean you should stop trusting God. Because of thy often infirmities. Those of you who follow the moves of God, you must have read across many generations some of the mighty workers of miracles. Either their children or their wives or themselves were sick, and they will go to massive crusades. Massive things will happen, but they will come back and nurse their sick children. I read the book of our dear mother in the faith, Mrs. Faith Oedekbo, how she was struck on the altar, went to preach with the husband somewhere. God's servant finished preaching, for her to come take offering. She collected the mic and couldn't speak. And after a few seconds, God's servant discerned that something was wrong, rushed there and grabbed her from the altar. She was bedridden for more than 9 months. You will say, I thought this man says a man of faith. That's why it's happening. It's called trials of faith. Some of you follow the prayer watches that just ended yesterday. I made a declaration. A lady felt like something was coming out, rushed to the bathroom, literal fibroid came out of her. But I have somebody who needs healing in my house. They today is sick. You can't balance the equation. To make things worse, they followed. They were not healed. I saw other people's case, I didn't see their own. So what do you say? It's called trials of faith. You will go and lay hands on somebody's child, the person will come back to life. You come back home, somebody else who is connected to you is going through a less condition. You shout, you sing, you pray, you fast, and nothing happens. They are trials of faith. Don't give up. These are the journeys. Even Jesus, they challenged him like that. He went to his hometown. The Bible says he couldn't do mighty works. They say, you, this carpenter, which day did you become a Messiah? We are the ones. Do you know we carried you when you were born? And Jesus tried, they couldn't. The Bible says only few sick folks were healed. So sometimes it's familiarity, sometimes it's unbelief, sometimes it's manipulation of the realm. Your duty is to keep believing. Number 5, trial of faith is the loss of loved ones. There are times when people you love will die in situations that you will not be able to forgive yourself. You will weep and weep and weep. You will beg God, Lord, if you do this, all my life I will serve you. They will still die. I think it was either Roberts now or Kenneth Hagin, I've forgotten. They said lost his son, and for many years he was weeping. I think it was Ora Roberts, until Jesus gave Kenneth Hagin an encounter to tell him that his son was with him. The man couldn't forgive himself. I prayed for many, they were healed. I delivered many. Why would my own son die? There are many who fell from the faith because their loved ones died. But it's the journey of faith. Sometimes God checks their future. This is the best time for them to come home. So you prayed, nothing happened. Because if they remain on earth, some will backslide, some will go into apostasy, some, the little things they have in God, they will damage it. So when God sees that this is the best time for them to enjoy eternity, he just carries them. And there are times when there are no explanation. When you finish grieving, you will move forward. It's part of the baggage of faith. Did you see Mary and Martha in John 11? They were weeping. We know Jesus. He comes here to eat. He sleeps here. He is healing strangers. Now our brother is sick. You are nowhere to be found. When Jesus eventually showed up, they didn't even let him talk. If you were here, our brother would not have died. When we are celebrating, you come. Now that there's sorrow, where are you? Subtle attack on Jesus. It's called trial of faith. It happens. This does not mean you should change your conviction. You stand your ground. You are not Alpha Omega. In this journey, you win some, you lose some, but you keep growing. That's how faith is. And if you want to question God, you will question for a long time. And the thing is, when you eventually go to heaven, you will remember. The joy will overwhelm you. So anyone you can handle. The ones you can't handle, thank him, move forward. That's how faith works. You know, in church, 2 million people, 500,000 people are following. 30 are healed. We celebrate it. What should we do? We should celebrate it. But we celebrate that 30 as though the 500,000 too receive something. Now, if you check the ratio, that's less than 0.01%. So as we are celebrating the 30, there are 300 that nothing happened. But you won't kill yourself, because your name is not Jesus Christ of Nazareth. So instead of crying, oh Lord, see these 2,000 that have not been taught. If it's 10 that God healed through your faith, thank him and move on. And as you are growing, the ratio increases. That's faith. 2 Samuel 12 verse 22 and 23. I love the character of David. His son was sick. He trusted God, and the son died. See what David said. And he said, while the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, who can tell? God will be gracious to me, and that the child may live. Next verse. But now he is dead. Wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I should go to him, but he should not return to me. The man got up after he did all he knew to do. He showered, combed his hair, ate, and moved on. Now there are times when God raises the dead. That's not the context we are dealing with. But there are times when you pray your heart out, nothing happened. Don't stop there. Keep moving. This is part of the journey of faith. Every faith giant have tasted 1, 2 or more of these things.